Aloha, friends and family. Boy, it only took 1 week for the world to go kind of crazy. Crazier than it already was. But let's think back a little bit here. What kind of rhetoric were they ramping up before 9/11? There was a terrorist under every rock. And then 9/11 happened. And then everybody fell into the illusion. And had no idea what the deep state was doing. No idea that the deep state was planning to go into Afghanistan and destroy the place in the name of democracy. But what they were really doing is using it as a place to funnel American taxpayer dollars into that country. And then their corrupt people that they already had in place would get that money and then pay off their people. Just like the corrupt so-called president that just fled. And he had so much cash and so much American taxpayer dollars that he couldn't even get it all on his plane. They said, look, man, you got way too much cash here. We can't take all this with us. You're going to have to leave some behind. And, you know, they got copious amounts of weapons. And most NPCs are still absolutely clueless as to what these people do. And so they're just ramping up that same game again, that same rhetoric again, because they're preparing all the NPCs that are still duped in this country for the next 9/11, because it just so happens to coincide with the Great Reset. And since they're doing so many things behind the scenes that they don't want you paying attention to, well, they'll just keep you distracted with the same old bullshit, won't they? Meanwhile, all the regular people in Afghanistan have just been thrown to the wolves. Thrown back to the wolves. Because none of these people care about humanity or humans. I can't wait for the day when the NPCs figure that out. But right now, they're aiding and abetting the deep state. So they're taking part in that karma. See, ignorance of the law, the cosmic law, is not exemption from it. And even the so-called good news networks are suddenly talking about Bin Laden, who was a CIA asset. But you can't tell an NPC that. They're way too mind controlled. to know that. And so they put their soldier up there. This is the great and mighty soldier that murdered Bin Laden. But we can't show you his corpse because we accidentally threw it in the ocean. Or purposely threw it in the ocean. Or purposely didn't let you see it. Because we don't want you to figure anything out. We want you to just believe what we tell you. Endlessly believe what we tell you. So when the next 9/11 happens here on the homeland any minute now, these same NPCs are going to be completely duped and believing whatever the mainstream tells them. And it'll probably be some Middle Easterners performed a terrorist attack on the country. Now we need to re-invade Afghanistan now. We need to start the whole 20-year cycle over again. We need to perpetuate endless war. And without another 9/11, you know, even the NPCs probably don't want that. They're like, oh God, we've had so much of that in our lifetimes. But get them pissed off, you know. Stick the stick in the hornet's nest. Feed them whatever story you want them to believe and regurgitate. And then they'll be ready to do whatever we say. So if we need to spend billions more taxpayer dollars to re-invade a country that we already invaded for 20 years and caused countless American lives, countless civilian lives, well, they'll be ready to do it again. Meanwhile, the people perpetrating it all just get richer, and you get poorer, and you get dumber. If you're an NPC. And I encounter so many NPCs in the comments. That's why I'm making this video and not uploading the video that I intended to upload, which is about what we really should be talking about, what we should really be focusing on, what is actually, you know, uplifting. But I can't just stand by and not tell you what potentially is about to happen. So at least after it does happen, if it does, well, I can refer you back to this video where I told you about it before you were even thinking about it. Some of you are probably thinking about it. If you're on my channel, you're probably well aware. But I try to reach the NPCs. I try to get to the people that they're just in illusion, totally immersed in illusion. The people that are unknowingly fighting for the deep state. They're actually, like I said, they're aiding and abetting this monstrous entity that causes death and destruction wherever it goes. And they're just so ready to believe anything that monster says. We've got 5 million variants now. You're going to need a shot every month. NPCs will be like, oh God, yeah, yes, we're going to have to get shots every month. We are terrified. And we want everybody to be terrified with us. And all you free thinkers, all you enlightened people that don't buy into any of this bullshit, we don't like you very much. How dare you think that you can be free of this fear and terror that we live in? You really can't see that when Antifa attacks a group of people that are protesting for their rights not to be injected with government experiments, they attack them and start stabbing them. You can't see that these are deep state operatives that are paid to go do this stuff. These people are paid to go and harass you, beat you up, and stab you. Because you dare to assert your rights to not be experimented upon. And if humanity wasn't slow enough already, wait till after they got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots in them. How slow they're going to be mentally, spiritually. They're disconnected from their souls. Absolutely and totally disconnected from their souls. That's why they appear soulless. That's why they look soulless. That's why they speak soulless. And that's what my next video is going to be about. I'm going to talk about that. How do you get disconnected from your soul? Or are we even aware of the fact that we are the builders of the soul? Like, you're born with the framework. Everybody is. Everybody's born with a framework of a soul. But if we do not build that soul, it just remains an empty framework, a shell. And so humans have been disconnected from their souls for so long now. We've got a whole society of shell people. They're just shells of people. They don't have any of the vitality of life within them. And if it's in you, it's going to come forward. It's going to come out. And the religions are good examples of this. We have so many people that can talk about the Spirit, can talk about God. It's completely a mental activity. But how many people speak through the Spirit? with the Spirit. Like, let the Spirit come forward out of you, through you, and speak and manifest with power. So it's not just mental philosophy. It's actual real-time power. And it's not going to happen with a framework that has no soul built upon it. And if we need an example of what the framework is, it's just simply the etheric body with all of its chakras. But all of its chakras, see, chakras are what alchemists use. That is alchemy. Chakras contain, you could think of them as little, round containers, and they have liquid in them, but the liquid is not actually liquid, it's light, and the light has color, and we use these, we'll call them potions, we use these potions in alchemical ways to produce and manifest into 3D. But most humans have just a shelf of dusty, colorless, unactivated chakras. And somehow we got disconnected from the reality that you bring those colors to life. You empower those chakras. You empower that light. You crystallize that light, which all came from the source light, the light of source, which is pure white light. And when it goes through the spectrum of the human, it fractalizes into 7 colors, 7 chakras. Okay, and then we activate all of that, learn to use these potions, use this light, and when we master it, all of the colors point back to a centralized point that then turns back into the pure white light. And we could then say that is when someone has ascended. They've mastered the soul. They've built, completed their soul. They have empowered the I am presence within all of us. And there's a secret elixir that we add to each one of these little vials of chakra potion that activates it. A secret elixir. What could it be? What is it? What activates these chakras? It's the mightiest power of all the powers. It's the most potent of all powers that exist in the cosmos. And it only takes one drop of this secret elixir to alchemicalize that potion and activate it so that the dim, dusty vial that was sitting there doing nothing and looking like nothing suddenly illuminates and radiates light in every direction. One drop. And it's love. Love is the secret elixir for all the alchemical processes. And see, they have intentionally diluted both this power, this word, love. So that it has just become some superficial thing attached to physicality. And so we equate love with materialism. That's what love is. And love could also be those things, sure. But if we go to the very top of the list of what love is, it's beyond all human definitions. It's beyond materialism. Again, it's a secret elixir. And to know that definition, you will have to understand it through your activated soul that you have built and constructed. See, nothing else builds the human soul except the I am within it. So none of the gods, none of the deities, none of the gurus, none of the books, none of the lessons, none of that is going to actually build your soul. Can they lend to the process? Sure. But I am has to build, construct, form the soul. And since seemingly very few know that, very few are doing that. And so we have shells. We have NPCs. And they're so easily duped. And I don't know if you can sense it or not, but I can sense that another dupe is coming. And I can already hear the NPCs repeating the mainstream narrative, whatever it is. Because they are believers. They're not knowers. They're not doers. They're believers. And people that aren't doers generally don't like people that are doers. See, if you're actually doing something, if you're actually making any sort of attempt to improve this world, help the people of this world, well, they resent you and despise you for that, because they know they're not doing anything. All they're doing is believing. And so you should just stop whatever you're doing and believe with us. And if you don't, we're going to call you names. We're going to tell you to take your meds. We're going to tell you you're crazy. All the crap I hear in the comments from the NPCs that don't even realize someone's actually trying to help them. Someone actually gives a shit, that doesn't even know, a perfect stranger. And they despise it. Just exactly what Jesus experienced when he was here. And others, you know, I'm sure Buddha experienced it. I'm sure all the great masters that have since ascended, I'm sure they experienced it. I suppose it's part of the process. It's unfortunate. It's a sad commentary on humanity, that they would rather fight and defend their deep state masters and write people off that are actually trying to help them, that actually do love them. Because again, we're all one. So after you've learned to love self, you realize self is all. So we must love all. So we don't think in terms of, man, I'm going to ascend and leave all these shitty people here. We're all one. So if I'm ascending, everybody's ascending. If you're ascending, everybody in your sphere is ascending. And you might possibly be the lead guy or gal. And sometimes that's a lot to bear. But love conquers all, right? Love conquers all. This mighty secret elixir. So add it to all your chakras. Make sure you get it into all your chakras so that they are activated and illuminated. And you will shine bright in the darkest of places. Love, unity, and light, my friends. Until next time.